Hey folks, Pirate Tiger here. Welcome back to 80 Days. We are aboard the SS Slippery Skin, the love boat between Honolulu and San Francisco. It's day 69. And on day 69, Phileas Fogg accidentally sleepwalked into our cabin at night and then asked to stay a while. I don't know. It's not for me to say. It took an unexpected turn. Is all I can tell you. Moving on. Apparently relations have deteriorated slightly. Never mind. Not to worry. Carrying on it's the two of us looking a little uncomfortable. What is your wish, master? Is there something the matter? Well, you are a little rough about San Francisco. Still a young city compared to those of Europe. Yes, and a city where our sort of behaviour in this day and age is still not well loved. About San Pedro. You might be interested that you can obtain cotton flowers in San Pedro. You can sell for profit in San Francisco. Well, isn't that just a kick in the nuts? Maybe we should have gone to Acapulco, San Pedro, San Francisco. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's fine. It would have been cheaper, but never mind. Don't care about Gastown. What about the journey? There are still a few days left to us. We cannot afford to lose a single day. We can't afford to lose a bloody time machine. It's hopeless. Never mind. Captain Kalani was a heavily pregnant Hawaiian woman who found Mr Fogg's English accent a source of great mirth. Ah, that explains the kids' conversation. Maybe I was jumping to conclusions there. Maybe I'm just looking for romance. Never mind. Accent is also great mirth. Say something else, she demanded over breakfast. Please, Mr. Fogg. I distracted her with some idle talk, and my master cast me a grateful look. All in a day's work, for a valet of my unimpeachable caliber. Besides, he's mine. Get away from him, you bitch. Moving on. This has all gotten rather silly. What about the news? Maniac Phileas Fogg, now in debt, says Bank. Oh, who gives a stuff? I care. I'm sorry. But it seems we will be pulling into San Francisco shortly. I woke to a frantic knocking on my door and opened it to find Mr Fogg actually wringing his hands. My goodness. Passepartout, he said, his breath hitching. Come quickly. I followed him with grim alacrity. We don't ask questions. We are a valet. Whatever it is, we will cope with it. Certain that something truly unspeakable was afoot, and I was not wrong. My master opened the door to his cabin to reveal Captain Kalani, red-faced and moaning upon his bed. She turned a baleful gaze in our direction. I'm having my baby early. I completely misinterpreted that. I need to get my mind out of the gutter. Either she's having a baby or she just threw her Hitachi magic wand out of the window just as I got in. But never mind. It could be anything. I don't know. I'm having my baby early, she hissed, sweat upon her upper lip. You must help me. What should I do? I had intended to ask a question, but it came out more like a shout. Will one of you hold my bloody hand and the other fetch some blasted water? She retorted. I glanced at Mr Fogg, who said, I will fetch the water, and left me to hold Captain Kalani's hand. Oh, Mr Fogg, you prude. Are you in much pain? I asked inanely. She gave me a look so full of venom that I felt a sudden sweat pricking my brow. Yes, silly question, but it seemed less indiscreet than asking about her father. Then she moaned aloud. Mr Fogg returned with a bucket of water, but our respite was short-lived. Captain Kalani parted her knees. One of you, she said, authoritatively, must catch the baby. Catch it? Like, before it shoots out the porthole? Apparently that's how I was born. They had to use a net to stop me from hitting the wall. I steeled myself to the role. I let Mr Fogg take that task. I would never. Yes, I will steel myself to the role, and relinquished her hand to Mr Fogg. I tried to compose my expression into something cool and medical and detached, but I fear I met with mixed success at best. After an infinitely long, infinitely terrifying interval, which I have not the means to describe, I held a small, squalling, red-faced baby in my arms. I took off my own jacket and wiped the birth fluids from the baby's face, calling it a worthwhile loss. Then I gave it to her. "It is a girl," I said into the sudden hush. Captain Kalani was sweaty and wild-eyed and utterly exhausted. She held the baby to her chest as though it were an infinitely precious thing. She began to sing to her little girl, a song of whales and ocean waves and airships that hung like moons in the sky. Good show, Passepartout. Good show. Captain Kalani's indisposition the previous day did not delay us in the least. Yes, Captain Wicker, take a note out of her book if you would. She had a well-trained and loyal crew who seemed to have collectively adopted her little girl as one of their own, as is inevitable, I feel. I will call her Jean. Or Jean, yeah. I will call her Jean, Captain Kalani told us as we tethered at San Francisco. You are excellent midwives. I was overcome and ducked my head like a boy from the countryside. The name suits her, madame, I said. She will bear it better than I have. I turned towards San Francisco Bay with renewed hope. After all, whatever challenges it offered could scarcely be more taxing than those we had just overcome. She's the one giving birth, mate. Come on. You just sat there and caught the damn thing. Still, we are down a coat. Never mind. And we arrive, at last. San Francisco Bay. The travelling cloak should be quite valuable here. There seems to be no departures today. We should explore a little. We can do that later. First of all, travelling cloak. It's not worth that much. I think it's worth keeping, honestly. Wax cylinders again, Smith & Wessons again, driving goggles. Ooh, right. Let's quickly check the departures. Something a girl, yes. Departs tomorrow at 9 a.m, so we do not have time. Oh, and we can only take, it seems, 2 suitcases. Well, bugger that. Can we negotiate? Maybe. I'll try. Let's quickly check the bank again. Yeah, I'm not selling anything here. I will see if I can get an extra suitcase on board. If not, we're in trouble. Okay? So let us explore quickly. Oh, sugar. How much does it cost? We've only got $141. Oh, damn it. New routes discovered. We can get to Gastown. I don't want to go to Gastown. I don't want to go... Come on. This is going awfully. I'm doing everything wrong. Very well. Back to San Francisco. Probably too late to sell anything in the market. San Francisco seemed less a city and more a ravenous beast bent on consumption of everything, even of itself. It's seldom any different today, I gather. Within the ever-expanding city limits, enormous steam-powered drills and diggers flattened hills, straightened roads, reformed neighbourhoods, and dumped the resulting rubble and stone into Mission Bay. Well, I mean, if that's a metaphor for, the gentrification of San Francisco, then yeah, it's probably fair enough. I sloped towards recently constructed Long Bridge, which was crowded with families out for a stroll and people fishing for silvery smelt with long poles. In the water was a jangle of rowing boats racing each other and boatmen taking passengers out to Mission Rock. Cheers and good-natured shouts emitted from a halfway house in the middle of the bridge. I peered at the halfway house and surmised from the revels I saw spilling out from its doors that it was some manner of drinking den. A man, red-faced and somewhat the worse for drink, bumped into me. I excused myself politely, and he made an apology in return, slinging an arm around my shoulders. Oh, dear. "Oh, hello!" he exclaimed. "You don't sound like you're from around here." Oh, you do not sound American either," I retorted. "No matter, I was Dutch once in a past life, but now I am as American as President Grant. This is a land of newcomers. You're prospector?" "I am a magician," I said seriously. His eyebrow raised. "Are you? Then do a trick." I did a simple coin trick, taking one of his silver coins, squeezing it in one hand, disappearing it, and then miraculously recovering it from his ear. He was most impressed, because he was drunk. As for how I did it, my friends, the answer is simple. Magic. A brown-skinned woman slipped her arm into his. I looked for an introduction, and the man smiled quickly. "Ah, my manners," he shook his ruddy face. "I'm Anders, and this is my wife, Jenny. A pleasure to meet you." I kissed her hand. She was surprised, but smiled. "Always a pleasure to meet Anders' friends." She looked askance at the whiskey flask in his hands, but seemed to find me unobjectionable. I hesitated, the obvious question about her origins on the tip of my tongue. Are you... I let my rather uncouth question trail off in embarrassment. She laughed with full-throated pleasure. I am of the Modoc tribe, what the New Americans call Indians. Jenny rolled her eyes. I do not mind your surprise. Most of my tribe has been taken to the Klamath Reservation in Oregon. Does not sound idyllic, I'll give you that. What is a reservation? Jenny looked at me with utter astonishment. They are tracts of land where the First Peoples are relocated. When the whites decide they want the gold, the silver, the coal, the buffalo in our homelands. Anders whispered something into Jenny's ear and she laughed, though I feared I had opened an old wound with my prying questions. I nodded and found my way back to Mr Fogg, who was sitting drinking tea with a disconsolate frown. It tastes like soap, he remarked, but would say no more. There's something very comforting about talking to Mr Fogg, isn't there? Anyway, moving on. Back to the market, before it's too late. Maybe we should sell it. Maybe. If we have to, we can ditch it all before we get on the boat. So... I guess we should wait out the night. Oh god, but have we got enough money? $61. Yeah, it was £61, sorry, dollar pounds. Yes, we do, but only if we don't stay in a hotel. So there's that. Right, we're staying the night out in the... we're going to stay in a boxcar, I think. Sorry, boss. It's just how it is. Doop, doop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doo-doo-doop. Yes, it's going to be up night, and boom. So 2 a.m. is the time when it ticks over. We lost 10 health. That's fine. It'll be fine. We had no alternative but to lie down near a local steam valve like the poorest peasants and shiver till morning. The night was cruel and hard. I thought I was going to die. Oh, stop being so dramatic. You're fine. Relations with the fog deteriorated. I'm sure it's alright. So, I guess we shall depart for San Pedro. Hire extra space. Yes, we can afford it. Excellent. No effect on our health either. £69. We went down to the wharf to find a route onwards, but it took us a few attempts to find a sailor who looked experienced enough to handle a boat, whatever the conditions might occur. We settled into a fishing boat whose name was Salvador, piloted by a Hispanic lady. I named it after my husband, she told us. She told as we slipped the painter, she slipped the painter, and we pushed out into the water. It is a fine boat, I told her. She smiled gently, a teary look in the corner of her eye. He was not a bad man. He did not deserve his fate, senor. I gulped, but we were too far from the shore to turn back already. Yes, that is a bad sign, isn't it? Naming it after a dead man. Never mind. Let us groom Fogg. You're most reassuring, Passepartout. Yes, I'm a jolly good valet. The boat scudded through the water, roughly following the sandy coastline and rocky cliffs of the shore. Do you make this journey often, madame? I asked, looking for some reassurance, surely, that we would arrive intact. No, she answered. Mostly I fish the San Francisco Bay, but I don't mind the change. How long have you lived in California? I asked. My husband and I came down in the gold rush, she told me. I spent every day for a year panning the streams and never found a cent's worth. My husband built a boat and caught fish to feed the other panners, and he made a nice little business out of it. So you became fishermen? We did, though there were plenty of other people doing that too. A rush on one thing brings a rush on everything, she sighed. It was a crazy time. People would put up with just about anything because they figured they'd be rich next week. Then when it started to dawn on people that they were never going to strike any gold themselves, and here they were. Picture it. A whole country's worth of people losing their hope together. Oh dear. Perhaps there are other things to desire than riches. Yeah. There are other things to desire than riches, madame. So says the man with the waxed whiskers and evening jacket. She shrugged. But you're right. We were lucky Salvador built the boat when he did. That's a reasonably pleasant end to that conversation. Could have gone worse. On to San Pedro. Quickly, Groom Fogg. Nah, too late. Never mind. The second day, Captain Dolores stayed at the tiller through lashing rain that kept my master huddled below the rough tarpaulin cover. Or that made my position working the jibsail harder. Yes, let's work the jibsail. Water slicked the deck and made my fingers icy cold, only for the ropes to burn them as the wind pulled this way and that. More than once I was all but hauled overboard. And it took all my considerable dexterity to remain upright. The storm lasted well into the evening, and we lost several hours, but finally the wharf at San Pedro came into view. "We land!" called Dolores. "Take the tiller!" There was no moment to lose. I raced to the back of the boat, just as the captain had already dived overboard, painter in her hand. She was shortly lost, but my fears only lasted a moment, when her head reappeared, bobbing like a seal's, and with strong strokes she swam to the shore and looped the rope through an anchor ring and hauled us in. Cool. We docked and secured ourselves with 3 more lines. "Madame, that was quite a dangerous move," I cried. "Could you not have sailed her in?" "Not with a wind like that at our backs," she snapped. "We would have been smashed into the rocks. Salvador has already had 1 hole put in him. I do not know if he can take another. And anyway, we lived." And then her tension came out in a laugh, like a rolling barrel, and I could not help but join with her. Aww. We are very appealing, aren't we? We're such a charming chap. Several of our possessions will fetch a few pounds here. You better piss and believe it. Good grief, that's the only reason we're here. Malachite chunk. All the money. Oil paints. All the money. Yokohama sketch. All the money. Aye, thank you very much. Now, this will sell well in Burlington, Atlanta. We might be going there, I don't know. This is cheap. Cheap cotton flour. A hooded cloak. Urban traveller, don't care. Windscarf, dusty road, possibly. We'll buy a couple of bits. Just a couple of little bits. I don't think we need the dusty road set. I think we'll get by. So, out of there and let us... Seems like you have made an excellent trade. Yes, I have. Let's plan our journey onwards. We're not going to Acapulco. That's miles away. Although it is by airship, isn't it? Looking at that. Arrive Sunday. That's pretty quick. And it's pretty cheap. It's a shame it's going the wrong direction. Tomorrow at 6 PM, so we do have time to explore and plan our journey a little better. I wouldn't say no to getting back up to the main line, honestly. But that's going to take us... Maybe we'd be better trying to get to Houston from here. But that's probably via Las Vegas, Albuquerque. Yeah, I should have taken a left at Albuquerque. So maybe Acapulco is the best route, actually. And thence, perhaps, to Havana? Maybe. Maybe. What about Panama City? Folks, it's day 74. Nothing we do now is going to get us to London by the end of day 80. We have failed our main quest. I feel I can say with some confidence we will not be winning our wager. But that does not mean the game is a failure. I haven't written it off yet. There is so much more to see and do in this glorious world. So if we find nothing else, nowhere else to go, I'll be quite content to take an airship to Acapulco. Only 2 cases, we might have to buy some more baggage room, but we could buy the air traveller set, or at least a part of it, in San Pedro. Yeah, why not? That sounds fun. Let us pass the night. We were staying near the wharf, looking out over the rolling Pacific Ocean in the Newtown area of San Pedro. I decided to walk into the old town, but found it largely a wasted trip. Though the streets were laid out in a well-ordered grid, the plots themselves were mostly empty, either half-built or half-taken down. Presumably this place was coming alive with the building of the railway, or dying in the wake of the ending of the gold rush. In a state of some transition. If I go this route, talking about the railway, maybe we will find some rail route across the country. A view which the more cheerful residents seem to share. "Alonzo Horton will bring us right," one man told me firmly. "It's all about the location, you see. We tried building a city here, it didn't work, so he's rebuilding it all over there." He pointed back in the direction of the water. "He's already fixed up San Diego the same way." "And what is better over there, exactly?" The man shrugged. It's hard to see, but when someone has the conviction that Horton has, they must be right. Foolish words, surely, I thought. But then I remembered the circumstances under which I was on this particular adventure around the world, and fell necessarily silent. I wandered a while longer, but found nothing more in those empty, lower districts. Sometimes there is a great lightness in being a tourist, forever leaving behind the great problems of one location and another. Relations with Fogg have strengthened slightly. Well, this is good to know. And it's the morning. We have time to explore. What do we discover? We discover train routes to Salt Lake City, to Albuquerque, to Dallas, to New Orleans. Oh my goodness! I browse around, my ears open, investigating the various ways in which we might continue. Good job. If we were to depart then, for example, to Salt Lake City for 230, or to New Orleans. Departs tomorrow at 9. It's £350. We have the money. Albuquerque, Dallas, and New Orleans. What can we buy? Urban Traveller, don't need it. Windscarf, don't need it. We've got everything we need. We are departing on the morrow. We have time to go to the bank and get some more money first, because it departs tomorrow at 9 AM. We don't have time to go to the bank. I take it back. Fine, that's what we're doing. And it's 4 suitcases as well. That is what we're doing. We don't really need to stay in a hotel overnight. We're good travellers. We've got a decent bit of railroad kit, I think. We've got the railway whistle. And we've got the railway cap. So that should make Mr Fogg very happy, shouldn't it? He's going to love it. He's going to pretend he's a train driver. He'll go choo-choo. And then he'll be very happy and his constitution will remain high. Now we have an amethyst, which is valuable in Atlanta, which is kind of in the direction. Dallas, New Orleans, Smith & Wesson. That's where we're going. Cotton flower, maybe not so valuable. Oh well. Engineer set, very handy. Maybe. I don't think I've ever used it, honestly, but it's fine. I've got the rest and recuperation set, which I think that probably just means we get more health recuperation from a night in a hotel. I could be wrong. But it seems to me that we're in a good spot now. Maybe I will ditch the cotton flower and buy the hooded cloak. Because it's, it's cheap and it could help us out. We don't know. Am I right in saying we've got room for 4 suitcases? Yes. So, back to the market. We might as well pick up some more stuff. We can ditch stuff when we get somewhere else if we need to. We can sell it for a good price. You don't know. Cotton flower is only really valuable in Havana. We might be going to Havana. You never know. But, having stuff is better than not having stuff when you're on the road. Personally, I like to travel very light. I will, I'll just take a shoulder bag full of my toolkit whenever I'm doing a job. I could be going to Marseille, for crying out loud, and I'll just have a simple shoulder bag with my very, very compact toolkit and a change of clothes and my very compact wash kit roll, and that's it. That's all I need. Oh, my phone charger. I really like travelling light. It feels good, you feel nimble. But anyway, we don't need the hotel. We're fine. We're fine. All we're doing is going to New Orleans. We're going to New Orleans, folks. San Pedro to New Orleans by the old railroad. I will see you then. Bye!